Hello, artists. Everybody check your clocks. You know what time it is. It is time for art. I'm your host, Hershey Petty. And what is time for art, you might ask? Well, it's an easy to follow, fun and engaging art lesson that is taught twice a week right here on our Facebook page, live. And if you don't have time in your busy schedule for art, don't worry. You can always find us. All these videos are available on our YouTube and our Facebook pages. All you have to do is look for Time for Art subscriptions, and you'll be able to access any of these videos on demand whenever you have time for art. So twice a week, we meet right here, and our incredibly talented, fearless leader, Allison Crary, shows us new painting techniques and some of her favorite tips and tricks on how to draw, so that we learn how to draw and paint 3 paintings each month. You are welcome to keep up and draw along or paint along with her, or you can just go and get it from our YouTube or our Facebook pages whenever you have time. So no need to try to keep up if you can't, because she is pretty fast. Today is Monday, August 1st. So not only is it a drawing day, our Mondays usually are drawing and our Wednesdays are usually painting days, but today is also the first day of a new month. So we will be doing an unboxing of your kits that you got in the mail. And we're going to be going through the projects that we'll be tackling this month. And we'll go over the templates that came that are like drawing prompts for everybody. And then, so all you'll need is your monthly subscription box right now, which is everything. I guess today you'll need everything as we go through it. And the only rule here is that there are no rules except to say hi to us in the comments. That way we know that you guys are here. That's the only way we know you're here. And we'd love to say hello to you and say hi to the other artists. And so while you guys get set up with your boxes, let's say hello to our resident artist, Allison Crary. Hello, Al.
Hey, Hershey. How are you?
I am great.
Do you want to share your news with our community? Hershey today is fostering a dog.
Yep, I got approved to foster a dog, and I got an email this afternoon that said they were in desperate need of people to come tonight. So after this class, I'm heading right over to the PACC, the Pima Animal something. I don't know. Anyways, they're a wonderful shelter, very state of the art, and I'm going to be picking up a dog to foster.
We are all about doggy adoption here. My dog Marvin came from Paws, Chicago, and he's the absolute best. So yes, a very lucky puppy is going to get to be in the hair of
very exciting.
So good news there. In the meantime, this is our new box. We've got a cucumber as our kind of welcome greeting, and our theme is late summer. So be sure to go down your list. We send this out every month, and it just kind of gives some of the dates. It's pretty straightforward this month, but just make sure you have everything that's on there. If for whatever reason you don't, you got to let us know. We'll make sure we get it to you right away. Our paints this month are cerulean.
Ooh, I love that color.
Yellow ochre, burnt umber, and magenta. And cerulean we love. Devil Wears Prada. Can't get enough cerulean. It has its moment there. You get a palette every month in your kits. These palettes are acrylic palettes that have, how many wells is it? 12? 12 wells. The reason we mix paint in wells is so that it doesn't dry as quickly, and you get to use more of it because it's surface area. You get labels every month. You can use whatever labels you want, or tape, or whatever you'd like to adhere your templates and your outlines to your sketchbooks and your canvas panel. And so, but we just do this so you are never without that step. Everything comes bumper to bumper here in these kits, packed with love in Long Beach, California. We send you brushes every month. We send you kind of a small, a medium, and a large. So here are all these. We send you a pencil. This is a number 2 pencil you can take a test with. Do kids still do that? Do they still take tests and pencils?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah. Scantrons. I don't think so.
They're like blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could go back to like 1998 and take a test with this. Also, we send you a pencil sharpener. It's actually a really good pencil sharpener. And we get a lot of compliments on it. And we send one every month because they're so small and they're easy to lose. I think Hershey we've been doing this, 7 times? Hershey probably has lined up 7
Yeah, I do. I do.
I'm lucky to find enough. I lose these.
I'm gonna start putting them in gift bags.
See, you're just gonna be like, you didn't know you needed this, but once you get it, you get it. So we send you a pencil every month. We send you a big white. This is more white than you need, but here's the thing. You use a lot of white, and this white makes the paint we send more opaque. So use it generously. You're gonna get a new one every month. We send you a sketchbook, a Time for Art sketchbook. This is where we do all of our doodles and practices and template additions, and we're investing in a really cool, these are going to change in our next batch eventually.
Excited for that.
So,
and these guys, like, I want to say too, like, go crazy in there. This is not just finished work. This is for doodling. This is for anything. Have fun.
Some of Hershey's most exciting pieces, I feel like, happen in here.
Agreed.
And like grocery lists, because that's a good place to put them too.
Yeah,
so
and grow to-do lists for sure.
Yes, to-do lists, all of the above. So yeah, feel free to explore in that space. This is graphite transfer paper. It is artist grade. It can erase. A lot of the surfaces we put this on, it really soaks it up, but this is pencil. It is artist grade. It is not the stuff that like checks are made on. And you can use it over and over and over again. And sometimes it's a little better the more use it is, not the less use it is. So hang on to these. Our theme is late summer because we are approaching late summer. This is when like peaches get really good, and
the fruit is really good in the stores right now.
It is really, really good in the stores right now. And you might see an occasional sunflower. You might, what else? The Rose of Sharon is in bloom. That always means it's the end of the summer. All that fun stuff.
Julie from Crown Point, one of our longest running students, she confirmed no more standardized testings with those pencils.
Oh, okay. You don't, is a LEP still a ball? Did you have that? A LEP is a ball?
No.
Like, okay, it must just be Indiana. Every year there was the example of the analogies, like anywhere.
Yeah.
And there you go. There you have it. So we have a grid. This is for drawing things. This matches this, and we draw with these. So that's what this is for. We have our two references. This is the Protea, late summer flower. This is the beach. If you haven't been yet this summer, you need to go.
Go.
It's the reminder. These are your vellum templates. We have paddle borders. We have baby turtles. We have oranges, both in section and on the vine and cut in half. We have a Ufic farm stand template. We have peaches, my favorite late summer fruit. We have popsicles. My adorable niece described my parents' house where they swim and play as this really exciting place that has an entire refrigerator just devoted to drinks and popsicles.
Yeah, it really does. And you know, Julie's actually chiming in on the comments saying that the only beach she's been to this season is Kevin's Beach, right there where that refrigerator lives.
And you know what? Where else would you need to go?
Yeah, exactly.
So we have popsicles, we have sugar snap peas, we have a sunflower because they're popping up right now. And then we just have some pretty flowers to just, you know, acknowledge it's still summer, and you can do anything with this. This is a really fun template to play with.
Nice.
We have two outlines for our two paintings we're going to do. Back to these references. If it is your first time, this is a painting and this is a painting, and we include the outlines for these paintings. So this is an outline and this is an outline. Then we also include in our kits not one, not two, but three canvas panels to certainly do two paintings. And if you really mess one up, again, we do a lot of painting over here. If you have an issue, we don't worry too much about that here. You have an extra, or paint something original. We spend one of our nights and we paint something original and we show it to everybody. And that's what this is for. You don't have to. You can use it for anything else. You can try something new. You can this and that, but you get a third to either paint something original repaint something else, or, you know, use for a different project, anything you
Yeah.
want. So that's what's in here. We are going to show you next how to start mixing.
Popsicles look so fun.
Let's do that as the template tonight. You want to do that?
Yeah, the popsicles look great.
So leave this guy out.
Tell me what this one is, Al.
The Protea.
Okay, gotcha.
The Protea flower. Yes.
Excellent.
Very, very pretty in I think it's the Queen Protea, different than the King Protea. And you see them in a lot of bridal bouquets, and it's kind of an avant-garde.
Okay, yeah. It's definitely different.
Definitely different, kind of spiky, kind of, I don't know, maybe a sassy bride.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know. Maybe one that like wanted to be Maleficent, not the princess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay, so I'm gonna sharpen this pencil because why not?
No, it's so Ruth just chimed in. She goes, "That's not an artichoke." And you know what, Ruth? I thought the same thing when I was just looking at the outline, but the colors definitely made me think that that's not an artichoke.
Yeah, definitely not an artichoke. It's a Protea. Look up a Queen Protea.
Yeah. Let's see.
They kind of look like artichokes, though. You're not too far off.
Yeah, you definitely do. Did you do? And while everyone is getting ready, I just want to say shout out to the people that are in the chat room right now. We've heard from Julie from Crown Point, Cheryl, Michelle, Melinda, Ruth. I don't think, and let me see who else we've saying hey in there. Yep, that's who's saying hi. So
Got a good thing going. We'll
we have
take
Cheryl,
it.
the self-proclaimed rule follower.
Oh.
That Ruth who coined the term gang of painters.
Gang of painters.
That Michelle said, "Hey family," which I love.
Love it so much.
Yeah. So hi everybody. Thank you for saying hi in the chat.
Awesome. And we have so many exciting things coming in. We just want to thank everybody for coming and joining us and having fun with us and painting with us. It's our favorite thing in the whole world. So there's that. All right, let's mix some colors. I'm gonna get all these open, and if it's the first time you're opening paints, take out your cap. It's got a sharp pointer on the inside and it opens your paint. And be careful because these are very full and you could kind of get, some drippage.
Yeah. You don't want to squeeze.
You don't want to squeeze, and it doesn't take much. So this is kind of, I feel like this is maybe the most, what's the word? Inclusive, maybe, group of colors we've ever sent. Because it's no joke.
Yeah.
Red, yellow, and blue, brown, and if you wanted one for good measure, green. It's kind of every color and then some. So if we're gonna make a
I
quick
looked up the Protea flower really quick just because Ruth wants to know how to spell it. It says it's used as cough medicine for medical care and other chest disorders.
Hey now.
They symbolize diversity, change, and courage.
Well, there you go.
I know, and they're beautiful. My gosh.
Beautiful. Are they? Yeah. There's King Proteas, there's Queen Proteas. Very sophisticated. Okay, so let's make a color wheel. And I usually kind of like to make sort of a Star of David when we're talking color wheels. And I'm going, so I'm going to drop red, yellow, blue on here. And we'll put them in here too. So this is magenta, and it's definitely kind of like a brick red magenta. Very much magenta, but it's not super pinky. If that's what your experience with magenta has been.
You move up the book just a little bit.
Yeah, thank you for telling me. And so yellow ochre is a really awesome yellow because it's kind of a mustard yellow and
earthy.
but really concentrated. So if we were to mix these guys together, remember, we're going to need more yellow than red because let's say here at not all
colors are created equal in paint.
In paint. And so it's going to take more yellow than our red. So let's go ahead and do exactly that. Let's see what we get here. Not bad. See, this is really concentrated, our yellow.
And what are you doing there? You're mixing the red and the yellow together?
Yep. And we're making kind of an orange.
All righty.
So with these two, this is kind of a coppery orange. Take a look at that, Hershey.
Yeah, I know it. It's like gold.
Yeah.
Or copper. No, you're right. Copper. It's got metallic properties.
It's got metallic properties kind of. So that's kind of a cool color we can play with.
And did you say you added a little more of the red than the
Than I was expecting, because the yellow kind of holds its own a little more when it's yellow ochre. The weakest is lemon yellow.
Right.
Medium yellow, not quite as bad. And then we always like to try our colors plus white because then they look a little bit, sometimes more like themselves, sometimes a little less concentrated. And the white is, we use one that's open. The white is going to make everything more opaque. So if we add a little bit of white to this, it gets kind of rusty orange. Just like that.
Yeah.
And we should have told everybody to have some water out if you didn't already. Let's add a little white to our others. Just like that. So if you look, our yellow ochre goes kind of to like from a mustard, maybe to like a lighter marigold or sand kind of color, sand yellow. This kind of gets to the magenta. It's a little.
You definitely see more of the yellow in the yellow ochre once you add the white.
Yeah, and that's the fun of it. Let's mix these guys. So the red and blue. Let's see what kind of violet we get here with these two.
Ooh, that's a nice purple.
Isn't it? I think it's gonna, for equality's sake, or you know, artists for color equality. Yeah, it's a really nice purpley red.
Yep.
It's a really nice purple. Let's add some. I'm gonna call this like Dimetapp purple.
Which of the
which is obviously the best tasting medicine on the, you know, on the market. Didn't have to tell me to take that twice.
Yeah, and that's probably that's a good one too.
Yeah.
It works too, so you're not just drinking it for no good reason.
No, oh yeah. Oh, you feel your nose.
You feel that work. Yeah.
Finish it. Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I haven't had some in a while. Let's make this green from these two. So here's our yellow oak. Look at this beautiful green, Hershey.
That's the blue, the cerulean, and the yellow ochre.
Cerulean and the yellow ochre.
And what would you say, was that just a little bit of blue?
I could argue like 50-50. The yellow ochre is holding up better than all of our other yellows.
Ooh, that is a nice green.
Isn't that a nice green? Let's add a little bit of white to both of these guys. See what we get. Look at it's
You know,
almost like
everyone
jelly.
at home, I don't know if you can see what's happening here, but she's showing us right now how we have every color available to us and we're going to be using them. It's going to be so
Get 'em
exciting.
all. Okay, so then compliments. Hershey, what are complementary colors?
They are well, I'm not exactly sure the definition, but they're opposite each other right now in the wheel.
Sold.
Yep.
Opposite. It
Yep.
is its colors opposite. And so if we take a little of this magenta and we take a little bit of this green, we are going to get we are going to get kind of a natural black gray. I didn't make enough of the screen to do this, but yeah, there we go. Look at that.
Yep.
And we add a little white to that. Look at that gray.
Yeah.
That we just made. One of my faves. Next, we're going to take a little of this violet that we mixed. I'm going to add some of this to it. Same thing, add a little white. Look at that gray. Looks a little different, but it grays.
Yeah, these are good grays.
These are good grays. Same thing here. We're going to take some of the cerulean. We're going to take some of this kind of rusty orange that we made, kind of coppery orange. Mix these together, see what we get. And this happens with our oranges here sometimes. Yeah, we're getting a gray.
Yeah, I'm getting a gray.
Go a little gray green, but yeah, that's a gray still.
I like that gray green.
Look at those grays we get. These are really great ways to make grays. This is how nature makes grays. They don't make grays from a tube of black. Black is the absence of color in nature.
That's right.
Why when the sun disappears, the sky gets black. That's simple. Then, for good measure, because we were way too generous this month, we went ahead and sent you burnt umber. You know what burnt umber is? Brown. Straight up brown. Chocolate brown, if you will. This is burnt umber. This burnt umber leads a little red.
My burnt umber.
That's a good looking brown.
My burnt umber, the lid of my burnt umber is not piercing the I'm gonna have an explosion here. I know it. There we go.
Oh yeah. It's more heavy bodied. Let's see what this looks like with a little bit of
and in previous months, we have made brown.
Oh yeah. And could we do that with this? Yes. But here's the thing. We went ahead and sent you brown.
That's how good.
Go ahead and just kind of appreciate that. We made you 3 different grays. Enjoy it. Here's burnt umber plus a little bit of red. Plus our magenta. Let's see what this looks like.
We do have a lot of strong colors this month.
Yeah. Okay, that's kind of a maybe a clay color.
You mixed it with what, the red?
With our magenta.
You get like a terracotta color.
Yeah, kind of a terracotta. And then burnt umber plus the cerulean actually makes a really deep, rich. It kind of cools it off a little because it's kind of red. So it's almost kind of a purpley brown.
Oh, I love these grays that I made.
Aren't they great? So when you think about colors, you get so excited about your neutrals.
Yeah, I can see the green in one of them and the blue in the other, and I'm just into it.
And you're just into it. Actually, that's cerulean super concentrated. Watch out for it. So this is our kind of burnt umber plus cerulean. Do you see how that almost looks kind of purpley, Hershey?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a darker color. The go back one for the, how did you make the terracotta color? I want to make that.
Burnt umber plus magenta.
Copy that.
So I think this looks kind of like, it kind of shares some space kind of with these kind of purpley tones. So. Fun with the paints we sent you this month.
Love it.
So I'm gonna go ahead and rip this guy out. Again, in our new sketchbooks that are coming, not this month, but over time. We'll stuff.
Won't have to.
Won't have to. And like this kind of thing, which I mean, depending on how you feel about it, it's kind of cool, but not gonna happen in the future. All right. No big deal. Okay. We are going to do template transfer. This is how you do template transfer. You get out, in this case, popsicles, because we decided that's the coolest one. And I'm going to rip this in quarters. Here is one of the labels we provide. You can use tape, you can use anything you want. There is a vellum template. And let's say for whatever you were working on, whatever you were making, you didn't want the popsicles to go that way. Instead,
you flip it over.
Wanted them to go this way. Look at, you can flip them right over. I think I liked them better the first try. So.
And you know, you mentioned this earlier, you can use tape, you can use whatever. I can't tell you how many times I have bypassed a couple rolls of tape looking for my labels. Before it's like, you know, just grab the tape.
It's whatever you need. We're bumper to bumper coverage here. We don't want you. We're going to start selling some extras just because if you want to buy different brushes or stuff like that, they're going to be available in the store, but artist pencils, that kind of thing. But everything you need, absolutely need, comes in a box. Okay. And then you're going to tuck your graphite paper, sticky, tacky, shiny side, waxy down. And then you're going to get out your pencil and you're just going to very lightly press along the lines that we provided. Just like that. How important is it to get every line accurately? I'm going to say not very.
It's not
for this stuff. Now, in your sketchbooks, though, sometimes you don't put all the layers in that we put into our finished pieces.
Yeah, those little extra lines or lack of lines, stuff like that, really give it a personal touch.
Yeah, and so if you really want your lines to kind of be seen, I guess you can slow down if you want to, but not something I worry too much about. Okay, take this off. This off. There is our transfer design. Now we paint. What flavor should we make these, Hershey? Anything you want. We gave you every color in the rainbow.
Yeah, I was thinking a couple different. I think we should get
definitely different.
Yeah. Like I think, you know, and just like Gatorade, I think popsicle color or flavors come in colors. So I'm thinking like a red and a blue.
I love it. And why not? Yeah. I think the first technique I'm going to show is just to kind of wash in color to kind of see how it goes, right? Just to kind of get some touch. Okay. Yeah. So I have some blue out. So I'm just going to kind of very lightly, almost watercolor level, just kind of get some color down.
Demonstrating the versatility of acrylics right now.
Yeah. So what's really cool about acrylic paint is you can go kind of watercolor level with it. Okay. And it has kind of a watercolor property, but then it actually dries permanently, where watercolor kind of every time you apply water, you can stir it up again. So I appreciate that in acrylic paint. And then if you want something like that, you know, get out your watercolors, but we like acrylic paint for its versatility. And it's why we use it. And if you're going to paint on canvas, which is, I think, a really fun thing to do, acrylic paint.
It really is.
And we send it to you every time. And then we also send you canvas panel for a variety of reasons. One, it's a lot easier to frame than stretch canvas. Works in a lot of different frames. Two, you can paint on it flat, which is a kind of tougher thing to do. Or on an easel, but I prefer to paint flat with it. And three, it comes pre-gessoed. So you don't have
And
to
that's like a primer process that helps.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's go ahead and mix up a color for our sticks. I'm going to go with yellow ochre and some white. So let's just start with yellow ochre for now.
Okay. And those colors that you washed in, those were the true.
Straight up, didn't mix anything.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's just, we filled the whole thing in. I like to work the painting as a whole. So some people like to work where they like spend a lot of time on one corner and then the rest of the painting's raw. Problem with that is if you're not working everything at once, you're not sort of measuring everything against each other. And it should be blue. And we use the whole painting to check our work as we go every time. And so that's why we like to bring everything to a certain level, then everything to the next level and everything to the next level. And the whole painting, what's most behind is what you work on next. So right now we've got kind of everything filled in. The only other thing I'm going to add is kind of a background color. I'm going to paint in a little bit of white around the edges here. Just
Any particular reason you're doing that?
I just kind of want it to look a little bit different.
Okay.
I'm just kind of giving it an atmosphere. Just like this. Don't always do it, but felt like I wanted to today. Okay. So there we go. Now I'm going to mix up a more opaque version of both of these. So I'm going to add a little bit of white to my cerulean. And in this instance, it makes it maybe a little bit lighter, but it really just kind of makes it more opaque. It makes it more heavy bodied. Brush. Then I'm going to add a little bit of white to my magenta. And this is a good example of, I'm going to say this makes it just look a little bit more like magenta.
This is one of those times when the white makes it truer color.
Yes, oversaturated. And I think this looks more like magenta with a touch of white in it.
Because remember we were talking about how pink is so different, where like pink is its own color. It's not like, no one ever says light red.
No, it sort of has properties all its own. All right, and so I'm going to take this blue and I'm just going to put in a layer of this more concentrated, saturated blue. And we say this all the time, but we're going to say it again. It's always easier to pull a line than it is to push a line. Yes, and so if I want to get really crisp edges here, I'm going to kind of press my brush to the paper and pull. Look at that clean, crisp line. It also works for painting walls. I still tape, but
when you remove the tape, you realize you didn't need it.
Well, it's good. It's a good thing to do. And then you go through with a brush, sometimes this size, and you just clean all of that up. Coming around this way. Just like that. Same thing here for our magenta.
You can still see a little bit of the lines even after you add the white, yeah?
Oh yeah, and you know what? That's one of those things where in our sketchbooks, because it absorbs so much of the paint color,
Right.
you're gonna have some of that. And I'm gonna go ahead and say great, because I'm gonna use that. And then we paint outside the lines all the time here. I'm gonna take a little bit more. Oh,
Oop.
lamp, my friend. I love this lamp, except that if you knock it, it comes off. All right, and then if you kind of want to clean up your edges with another coat, and I'm using my smaller brush now, of the same stuff.
Did you add white to the magenta and then redo it like you did the blue? Those really
did.
You did? Okay.
Yes, and then I'm just kind of pull some white lines around my popsicles. Just like this.
That covering white saves the day.
Yeah, and it's just good practice. And so these popsicles, I'm going to assume they're on a table. I don't know. There's not going to be a whole lot of shadow, maybe just kind of along the edges here. But it's going to be darkest in these kind of recessed areas.
Makes sense. Ooh, Nana Brown just logged in.
I got to see her today.
Oh, nice.
Hi, Nana Brown. Right. Kind of going around that edge like that. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white to my yellow ochre. I think that's almost kind of as is, exactly the color we want.
Yeah, that sand color.
For our popsicle sticks. So. And if you go in with the base color, if I'm going to be critical of acrylic paint, you get kind of streaky patchiness sometimes, not unlike the first kind of coat when you paint your walls. It's very similar paint to that.
Start over when you tell me something that, yeah.
Something I'm kind of critical of acrylic paint is it can look kind of patchy and streaky as it dries.
Okay.
The one way to kind of fight that is to do these base colors where you wash it in.
Yeah.
And paint it in with something a little bit more opaque, and look at how nicely that's drying.
Yeah, you know, I also think that the wash-in technique is really great for the canvas. That you know, because you get those white spots where you're like, I put paint there, and then
yes. So as it dries up, it shrinks up.
Yeah, interesting.
And that's just part of it. And to fight that, another technique we do here at Time for Art is sharpening your brush.
Yes.
So you brush nice and wet, just like this. And you kind of squeegee it to a point. And we get this nice point. And we leave it be. All right. So I'm going to say in the dark areas of this guy, it's going to be kind of a violet, but a very blue violet, right?
Okay.
And then I'm going to say in the dark areas of this guy, I'm going to say this is like a raspberry popsicle, and this is a blue raspberry popsicle. And we all know those flavors are worlds of difference.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do.
All right. And so I'm gonna add a little bit of red to my blue raspberry popsicle. And to date, I've never seen a blue raspberry. And a little bit of blue to my red raspberry popsicle. And I'm gonna mix.
That's a great idea.
I had this vintage glassware that I really loved
Yeah.
that was blue. And I thought it was really great. And I got it at a thrift store, and you know how I am about my thrift store finds. I'm really
Yes.
nice.
Just about to ask you where you got it, but no,
Definitely
it's
at a thrift store. We'll start with this one. And the problem is that everything you drank out of it tasted blue. I kid you not. Everything, like it just there's something about it. Like might never matter. You tasted blue.
Right.
So I ended up giving it to a dear friend. And I don't think she has that problem. So I'm just kind of, yeah, she doesn't mind it at all. Paint in these kind of recessed areas.
Putting that white behind it or on the outside really is, you're right, that does something for it.
It just kind of makes it a little bit its own thing.
Yeah.
So those are my recessed areas.
I'm really in the mood for a popsicle.
Now you want one, don't you? I'm gonna kind of hit that there. So we're gonna let that dry for a minute. And then I'm gonna mix up this one, which is the cerulean and the magenta. And see, definitely a darker blue. And I'm gonna hit these areas, recessed areas.
I think Melissa just logged on. Melissa Ann.
Hello, Melissa Ann.
So there's no white in the colors you're using for
No.
That's my mistake.
No, it's okay though. We do that a lot. So I can understand why you thought that, but no, actually, just because I want this to be a little bit darker version of what we've already done.
Yep.
Did
And,
not.
thank God for 12 wells.
Thank God for 12 wells. Something we can put on our t-shirts. All right. So now I'm looking at this and I go, okay, I want to kind of second coat these guys. This kind of, I'd like this to be a little bit more opaque. So
The inside, the lighter blue.
the lighter blue. So I'm going to add some of that. A touch of white just to kind of, make it again look a little bit more like itself.
Mhm.
Like this. In and around like this. Over here. Just like that. So there's not quite the contrast that was there before. Same thing over here. A touch of white. In and around and down like this. And if these overlap, that's not bad at all because it's kind of the same color. It's the same popsicle, just
Right.
one. You
The
see a little bit of
distinction, raspberry and blue raspberry.
of raspberry versus blue raspberry. And actually there's a little bit, you see the edge of this popsicle, the one on the left. See a little bit of the edge. So I'm going to give this that same kind of darker treatment down here. Just like that. And then, since these are ridges and the light's kind of coming from above, I'm going to add a little bit more white to these areas. I'm just going to kind of do it in the corner here. I got a little too white. That's the color I want. And we're just going to do a little bit of highlights as the light kind of hitting it from above. So I'm just going to kind of catch this ridge right around here. I'm going to catch this ridge right around here.
And what are you using for that?
Just the magenta plus white, but more
Okay.
white. Right along here. Maybe a little bit of this ridge right here. Just like that. Same thing for our blue. Obviously, take as much time as you want with this. We're kind of plowing through for.
And for the darker, that edge of the popsicle that's on the bottom, you use the same dark color. Is that right?
On that, yes, for this edge
Yeah.
right here, I did. Absolutely. And I'm just going to kind of catch this edge right here. This edge right here. This edge right here.
There's a little bit of a glare on yours, and I'm curious. So, because you know what, I didn't flip I had my template flipped a different way. So I've got a different, I've got
Gotcha.
red on top, but it's a little bit like, so
Gotcha.
yeah, a little bit opposite. So what's a good rule, like when you're adding in those highlights there, to just always just catch the same edge?
That's what I'm kind of going. I'm kind of going left, left, left.
Okay.
And again, if we were looking at a certain reference or anything else, we're just kind of
Yeah.
making this
Yeah,
up. And then I'm just going to take this time to kind of clean up my edges with a little bit of white. Pulling a line. Take all the time you need.
sometimes when we're done painting and I have got extra paint because I put too much in a well or I mixed the color and made too much,
Yeah,
that spurs me to keep painting because I'm like,
I
I
love
can't
it.
waste. I'm just going to put something down.
So another thing, we haven't done one of these in a while, but if you just want to paint a page, because you might want to like scribble on it later,
Ah, you're right.
or do a template on top, that's a good use of extra paint. So I'm just taking my time, pulling lines around the edges here. So Hershey and I were all excited about the grays we made because we're dorks, and that's what happens when you get into
Yes.
color mixing. You get all proud of your neutrals. And Hershey, what do you think a good gray would be as a drop shadow onto the white table?
I would think like I would think that a good one would be made with the colors that are already in the painting. So you
Yeah.
could use like a blue with the like with that copper color, or you could even use like the magenta with the green. I would recommend though the blue with the copper
Yeah,
myself.
I like it. All right, so we're gonna mix a gray. Before that, I'm gonna put a little bit of a highlight on our sticks. So I'm just adding a little white to what was our stick color, which was our yellow ochre plus white. So just adding a little bit of that to these guys. Just catching the light here. I'm gonna leave the other color right around the edge. And then if we want to mix a neutral, I'm actually, as much as I liked Hershey's idea, I'm going to change it. I'm going to take this purpley color that we mixed right here and add a little more purple to it. Like that. I'm going to add yellow ochre to that. So I'm going to take a color we already have. Hershey had a wonderful idea. We're just going with a different one. We already had. And I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow ochre to that and let's see what we get. So look at that. Yeah. All right. So I added a little bit more blue because there's a little bit of a red purple. And so this is this kind of brown gray we get. We're going to add some white. And look at this fabulous gray we made. And it's the light's overhead, but it's a little, we decided, to the left. I'm actually going to wash out my brush, squeegee it, sharpen it. Let it come to a point.
That's, I just did the same.
And I'm going to take a little bit of this gray we just made. And I'm going to follow this edge very tightly. And just put in this little bit of a shadow.
This is a bit of a technical painting.
It's a bit of a technical painting. We went ambitious on our first project out. And then I'm going to kind of clean up that edge. So in this case, I'm just going to kind of blend this.
And where'd you put those shadows? Or did you?
I put them just to the right. If the light's coming in from the left, I put them just to the right. So we put our highlights on the left side. I put our shadow on the right side.
Okay.
I'm just gonna kind of even this out a little bit.
This is one of those great lessons where we've pulled lines. We talked about color equality. We're doing shadowing and highlighting.
Yeah, we find a way to talk about color equality every time.
Mm-hmm.
It's important stuff. Just gonna kind of second coat it. On mine, maybe yours doesn't need it. Like that. Then if you want to make one more pass around the edge with some white, because you've got it out, and why not?
You've also demonstrated for us like just how versatile this white is.
Oh, it's the best. We worked very hard to find this white. We're very proud of our white. There we go.
And then, oh, your hair's, I think, in the,
Oh, yep, happens.
yeah. And then the same for the sticks, right? You just you did the same side. If you did the left side of the shading, but
Just like that.
all right.
Cleaning up that edge right now. We're right at the 7:56 mark. We're gonna wrap this right up at 8. We are gonna do another demonstration project on Wednesday. And then we're gonna draw the we'll do the Protea first. We'll draw the Protea on Monday next week. We'll paint the Protea on Wednesday next week. Then we'll draw the beach
Speaking
scene.
about the white, Cheryl goes, the whiteout is the magic eraser, and that is the truth.
Is so true. It is the whiteout. I'm gonna kind of here mix up the white I have here with whatever kind of noise was in it before. And then I'm just gonna kind of paint the rest of the page with this.
I think I'm going to follow your lead.
Because I've just got some stray marks from life on this, and I think I'm gonna like how that looks. Hoping everybody's enjoying their summer, their late summer.
Yep.
The late summer has some art in it. Might not be ours. Maybe you go see some art. Maybe you go see a play. You
Go have fun. Be
Fair.
outside.
Hershey and I have been art fairs before,
We certainly have.
and it's an experience.
Yeah. It's a, yeah, there's etiquette, there's all sorts of stuff.
All kinds of there's rules you didn't know about. But go buy art at an art fair. A print is something that's a good thing to do.
That's true.
Try and buy art and not like a tchotchke. Food for thought. This is more of a subtle curve than a.
How dark of a gray would you say you needed for those that shadow part?
I went pretty light with it.
You did. Okay.
Like a medium gray. So here's our popsicles.
Look at that.
It's a great little painting, maybe to pull up 4th of July.
Marvelous.
4th of July is kind of a special holiday at my house. You know, we've got a popsicle fridge.
Yeah, dedicated. Dedicated popsicle and drink fridge.
Popsicle and drink fridge. We have at least a like 10-foot by 12-foot beach. It's
Yeah. I mean, nothing says private personal beach like a 10-foot by 12-foot beach.
a 10-foot by 12-foot beach. It was bigger, but now we have a dance floor and a beach. It's decked over on one side. Have you seen the pictures?
I have not.
Oh, Hershey Petty.
I'm like booking a ticket.
You really need to.
I really need to. All right. Well, I want to say again, Allison, like, I feel like this is a great first lesson. We hit so many different things that we're going to be doing. That's
Right?
great. Yep.
Excited. And I mean, our next kits are going to look a little bit different. We are out of our minds excited about them. And thank you so much for making art with us today. We'll see you Wednesday.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.